It is now 1 p.m. on September 19th. The Matanuska-Susitna Borough's Platting Board will now come to order. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call and termination of quorum, please?
Yes. Plating Member Halford?
Here.
Plating Member Goodman?
Present.
Plating Member Cohn?
Here.
Plating Member Traxler?
Present.
Plating Member McBride?
Here.
Plating Member Johnson?
Here.
Absent and excused members are Plating Member Burtz and Bush, and then we do have an absent member, Plating Member Krieger. Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Halford, would you lead us in the pledge, please? I hope all the board members had a chance to look over last meeting's minutes. Agenda. Oh, approval of the agenda. Okay, I always get that out of order. So first order of business is approval of the agenda. I hope you all have an agenda before you. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda?
Motion to approve?
Ms. Trexler, and a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Cohn, thank you. Is there any changes, additions, or subtractions from the agenda as printed? Hearing and seeing none, the agenda as printed is approved. Now we'll go on to approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion for approval of the September 5th minutes?
Move to approve the minutes?
Ms. Trexler, thank you. In a second.
I'll second that.
Are there any changes to the minutes as printed? Seeing and hearing none, the minutes as presented to us are approved. Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is general audience participation. If anybody is in the audience that would like to address the board on any item that is not on today's agenda, why, you're welcome to come forward. Okay. Anyone online that would like to address the board in a general nature, press *3 and you will be recognized. Seeing none, we will close audience participation. We have no unfinished business. We have no consideration, so we'll get right down into today's business. The first item for public hearing today is Ancient Tree Estates, Block 1, Lot 4, section light easement vacation request. The request is to vacate the 33-foot wide section line easement on the northern boundary of Block 1, Lot 4, Ancient Tree Estates, plat number 82-89. Excepting the west 86 feet. The property is located west of Mud Lake, south and east of East Bogard Road, and directly north of North Creekside Drive. Tax ID number 2327 Bravo 01 Lima 004, within the northwest quarter, section 06, Township 17 North, range 01 East, Seward Meridian, Alaska. This is in the North Lakes Community Council area and in Assembly District 6. The petitioner owner is Hans Hansen and Crystal Investments, LLC. Staff is Matthew Goddard, and this is case number 2024-090. I will now read to the board the conflict of interest statements. To the board, do you or any member of your immediate family have a substantial financial interest in any property affected by this decision, or will you recognize a foreseeable profit as a result of this decision? Seeing, hearing none. Again, have you received or otherwise engaged in ex parte contact with the applicant, other parties interested in the application, or members of the public concerning the application or issues presented in this application, either before the application or during any period of time the matter is submitted for decision? outside of the public process provided by the borough? Seeing and hearing none. And finally, are you able to make an impartial decision? Affirmative from all board members. Madam Clerk, may we have the public notices?
Yes, there were 57 public notices mailed August 27th, 2024.
Thank you. And may we have a staff report, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Matthew Goddard, Platting Technician. The request today is to vacate the 33-foot wide section line easement on the northern boundary of the property, excepting that 86 feet on the western edge. The petitioner has submitted a petition to vacate the section line easement, and this is seen at Exhibit E. Pursuant to Matsu Borough 4310-065G, the petitioner has submitted an affidavit certifying that the notice of vacation was posted at the site of the proposed vacation and that it was maintained for a minimum of 30 days prior to the hearing. This is in your handouts. The State of Alaska Department of Natural Resources has provided preliminary approval for the vacation as seen at Exhibit B. Final approval from the Department of Natural Resources will be required prior to recordation of this plat, as seen at recommendation number 5. The Alaska Department of Transportation and Public Facilities also provided preliminary approval, and this is at Exhibit C. The section line easement documentation was submitted as part of this request and is seen at Exhibit D. Alaska Department of Transportation has no objections to the vacation, but notes that there is an active Department of Transportation and Public Facilities road project that will impact future access to East Bogard Road. Borough Department of Public Works Pre-Design and Engineering Division has no objections to the vacation. Development Services notes that the petitioner will need to apply for a driveway for the non-permitted access onto North Creekview Drive. This is seen at recommendation number 4. There were no comments received from the public in response to the notice of public hearing. In conclusion, the preliminary vacation request of Lot 4, Block 1, Ancient Tree Estates, Plat 82-89, is consistent with Alaska statutes and Borough Code. If approved by the Platting Board, this will need to be approved by the Assembly within 30 days of the written notice of action. Preliminary approval was obtained from ADOT and PF, as well as the Alaska Department of Natural Resources. The petitioner has submitted a section line easement determination verifying the existence of the section line easement. A petition for the vacation of section line easement was submitted pursuant to code. There were no objections received from any federal or state agencies, borough departments, or utilities. There were no comments received from the public in response to the notice of public hearing, and Platting staff recommends approval of the vacation with 7 findings of fact and 9 recommendations of conditions of approval.
Thank you, Mr. Goddard. Are there any questions for Mr. Goddard from the board? I do have a couple of questions. They're minor, basically technical. I noticed under the preliminary approval from DOT, it made note that note number 7 on the original plat must stay intact. Is that a note that after this road work is redone, that those driveways must be relocated? Is that pretty much what that note says?
I would have to pull it up as I do not recall off the top of my head.
Okay, well, you're pretty thorough in your research, so I'm not worried about it. But I do have one more question for you, Matthew. Anytime I see revised statute, RS 2477, I take note. The RS 2477 has been a very major issue to us Alaskans, but this is right in the middle of coming into Wasilla. I wondered why that was even referenced, but DOT and especially DNR, that's under their purveyance, didn't mention it. So could you explain why that's in your finding of facts? Just out of my curiosity, because 2477 is a hot issue to most of us Alaskans.
Give me just 1 second to see which finding are you referencing specific.
Number 1.
Wow. That is quoted out of our code segment for that chapter of vacations. So the RS 2477 falls under that same grouping, and that was me quoting verbatim out of our code for that reference.
Thank you, sir, for that clarification.
Sorry for the delay.
Are there any more questions for Mr. Goddard from the board? Seeing none, I'd like to invite the applicant or the applicant's representative to come forward now and address the board. Please state your name and sign the register.
My name is Ken Anderson. I work with Farmer Surveying. Just to get to your point on the note 7 on the plat, it says temporary access between lots 3 and 4, block 1 to Bogard Road will be eliminated upon completion of the Parks Bogard Interconnect Road. So,
Thank you, sir, for that clarification. That's kind of what I suspected, but
we have received all the conditions and we don't have any comments at this time. We'll proceed to move forward.
okay, thank you very much. And if there are questions from the board members, we'll bring you back up in
Okay,
the
thank
next
you.
segment. Thank you. I will open public testimony on Ancient Tree Estates section line easement vacation request. Anybody in-house would like to make public comment? Since there's no one here, anyone online would like to address the board on case 2024-090. If so, please press star 9 and you will be unmuted. Seeing and hearing none, we will close public testimony at this time. And if there are questions for the applicant or applicant's representative from the board, I will bring the representative back up. Any questions from the board? Okay, thank you. Well, seeing none, I would entertain a motion from the board on the Ancient Tree Estates section line easement vacation. Ms. Drexler?
I move to approve the section line easement vacation plat of Ancient Tree Estates Block 1, Lot 4, Section 06, Township 17 North, Range 01 East, Seward Meridian, Alaska, contingent on 7 findings of fact and 9 recommendations of conditions of approval.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Ms. McBride?
I second it.
Thank you. At this time, any discussion from board members on this case? Seeing, hearing none, is there any objection to approving case number 2024-090? Seeing and hearing no objections from the board, this request is approved. Okay, our second and final case for today is Alliance Country Heights. The request is to create 19 lots from tax parcel D14 and tax parcel D4. Parcel number 1, MSB waiver 97-45-PWM, and parcel number 1, MSB waiver 95-22 PWM, respectively, to be known as Alliance Country Heights, containing 20.04 acres, more or less. The subject property is located west of Parks Highway, east of North Pittman Road, south of West Karsten Drive, and directly west of North Suzanne Street. Tax ID number 17 November 02 Whiskey 02 Delta 014 and 17 November 02 Whiskey 02 Delta 004 within the southeast quarter of Section 2, Township 17 North, Range 02 West, Seward Meridian, Alaska, in the Meadow Lakes Community Council area and in Assembly District 7. The petitioner owner is Alliance Construction, LLC, and Natasha Heindale is the staff, and it's case number 2024-093. to the board. Do you or any member of your immediate family have a substantial financial interest in any property affected by this decision? Or will you recognize a foreseeable profit as a result of this decision? Seeing, hearing none. Have you received or otherwise engaged in ex parte contact with the applicant, other parties interested in the application, or members of the public concerning the application or issues presented in this application? Either before the application or during any period of time the matter is submitted for decision, outside of the public process provided by the borough. Seeing, hearing none, and finally, to the board, are you able to make an impartial decision? And that is affirmative for all parties. Madam Clerk, may we have the mailings?
Yes, there was 78 public notices mailed August 27th, 2024.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And may we have the staff report?
Yes, you may. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Natasha Heindel, Platting Technician. The petitioner has requested a continuance until October 3rd, 2024. This request is to allow time to coordinate mitigation for road thresholds and design modification from what was originally submitted. Staff recommends that the Platting Board grant the continuance as requested.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any questions for staff at this time from the board? I would invite the applicant's representative to come forward, but I see none in-house, so we'll move right along. I will open public testimony on Alliance Country Heights, case number 2024-093. No one in the audience. Is there anyone online that would like to weigh in on this? If so, please press star 3, and you'll have 3 minutes. Seeing none. At this point in time, we will leave public testimony open, and we'll move on. I guess next days I would entertain a motion on this. Ms. Drexler.
I move to approve a continuance to October 3rd, 2024, the preliminary plat Alliance Country Heights, Township 17 North, Range 02 East, Section 02, Seward Meridian, Alaska.
Thank you, ma'am. Do we have a second?
I
Mr. Bright?
second.
Second. Is there any discussion among the board? Is there any objection to continuance until October 3rd? Seeing and hearing none, it is unanimous. Last item, do we have any comments from plating staff and the plating officer?
Sorry, I was just checking the recording. I do have, we're only showing 2 on our agenda, but we currently now have 5 cases. We had 2 that we got before we printed this, and then we just continued today's case, so we will have 5 at the next hearing. We had some question from a couple of the planning board members about site visits, and we can do site visits. It would be, we would have to advertise, and we would have to do some type of recording of it. It would be difficult to coordinate, but not impossible, is pretty much how we've researched it. So, like I said, it does leave some, the idea is that we're recording it so that we can capture for everybody what the plating board is seeing, what the members are seeing. However, there's 7 points of view, and I don't know, there's some feeling that it might not be a good idea. However, it's something we can do. It's going to be fraught with some issues to do. So if we really want to do it, we'll keep after it and we'll set something up. We would have to advertise it because it would be a meeting of the board. Wouldn't be the plating board meeting, but it would be this group coming together to do site visits. We'd advertise it for a certain amount of time, probably take a bus or a minivan or something or a van or something that we have to transport everybody together so that we're all, and recording any conversations that we're having. So, like I said, it can be done. The coordination would be a bit difficult, but if it really becomes something you want to do, we can work on that.
Mr. Wagner, thank you for that. I'll give you an opportunity again, Madam Clerk, but some questions for Fred. So what kind of a lead time, Mr. Wagner, would you require to set this up?
That's where we start really getting, to do it, we would have to, well, it'd be tough, to be honest, because when we advertise the case is when you first are aware of them, and how we would work that between hearing the case and scheduling a meeting. I'll have to further talk that with other people, see how we would make that happen. So
Fred, thank you.
I will work on that some
Thank
more.
you for that. I want to remind the board members, this to the board, that the staff has been very good once they complete a packet or to send it to us so that we have it ahead of time. So if it is something you think we need site visit, you need to look at those packets ahead of time because Fred, as Mr. Wagner stated, it's going to be difficult and it's going to take some time, but I do want to remind the board, we do have that authority to request that. So, but it would be onerous. So that's all I have to say on that. And thank you, Mr. Wagner, for that clarification. Madam Clerk, do you have any?
No comment.
So any parting comments from the boards? I'll start with Mrs. Trexler and come this way.
The sun's out, go enjoy it.
No comment.
No comment?
And Mr. Goodman.
No comment.
Mr. Halford? All right, and no comment. I'm going to echo Michelle's words. It's the first time we've seen sun for a couple of days, so let's enjoy it. And thank you all for your time, and we're adjourned.